I'm Professor Savita Bodke and welcome to the new lecture series of International Finance. My today's topic is how easily we can score 75 out of 75 in the International Finance. So what we are going to discuss in this lecture, what are the important chapters from theory point of view, what are the important chapters from practical point of view, how to represent the answers in the university paper, how much time we have to spend on the particular question. All that we are going to discuss in detail in this lecture. So as we are already aware that we are having an external paper of 75 marks, and for that we are having a time duration of 2 hours and 30 minutes. So for this 75 marks, we are having 30 marks theory and 45 marks practical. So here a weightage of practical is more. So scoring 75 out of 75 is quite easy, because in case of the practical you can easily get out marks. Even in case of the theory also you can get the out marks, but for that you have to be very specific while writing answers. So all that also I am going to discuss further in this lecture. So now let's start with the question paper pattern. Question number 1 is of the objectives. You are having objectives is of the 15 marks. Now this objectives is divided in a two part, that is sub question A and sub question B. So now in the sub question A, they are going to ask you a 10 question and you have to attempt any 8, but still I'll suggest the students that solve all 10 questions in case of the sub question A as well as sub question B, because suppose if you will make any mistake, then also you will not lose out the marks and you can easily score 15 out of 15 in this objectives. Now while solving this question, you have to always remember that we are going to spend only 15 minutes on this question number 1, not more than that. Now in this question number 1, they can ask you MCQ, that is multiple choice questions, means they will give you the question and 4 choices of answers they will give you. They can ask you a fill in the blanks, they can ask you true and false, they can ask you match the column. So in case of the question number 1, if you will get MCQ fill in the blanks and true and false, what you have to do, you have to write down answer directly. Means don't rewrite the question, just directly specify the answer. Question number 1 true, question number 2 false, like that you have to do in case of your MCQ fill in the blanks true and false. But in case of the match the column, you have to rewrite the question, means column number A given by them and your next column is matching answers. So with the help of this, you can easily attempt this question within 15 minutes. Some students even can solve this question less than this. But maximum time you have to spend, that is 15 minutes on this question number 1. Now the next one is question number 2. In case of the question number 2, you are having internal option of theory and practical. I'll say that students go for the practical, don't go for the theory in case of the question number 2. So what you have to study in case of the question number 2? If you want to go for the theory, then you have to study chapter number 1, 2, 3 and 4 for the 15 marks of theory. Now if you want to go for the practical, you have to study chapter number 4, 5, 6, 7, 12 and 14. Now these chapters you have to study for question number 2, question number 3, question number 4, means all this practical 6 chapters are having a weightage of 45 marks. If you want to solve all the practicals of 45 marks, then you have to study all this 6 chapters and you have to spend 30 minutes on this question number 2. Again I'll repeat, if you want to go for the theory of 15 marks, for the 15 marks you have to study 4 chapters, and for the practical of 45 marks you have to study 6 chapters. So I feel that studying the practical is better deal, because you are having a guarantee of scoring out marks. Now the next one is question number 3. In case of the question number 3, you are having again internal option of theory and practical. So the same rule we are going to apply it over here. We will go for the practical only. So the maximum time we have to again spend on this question number 3 is 30 minutes. If anyone wants to go for the theory, then for this question number 3 they have to study chapter number 5, chapter number 6 and chapter number 7. For the practical, as I have said that for the 45 marks you have to study all this 6 chapters. So for the question number 2, 3 and 4 we are going to study this 6 chapters. So again remember that for the question number 3 also go for the practical only and solve this within 30 minutes. Now the next one is question number 4. Again it is having an internal option of theory and practical. The same thing, we will go for the practical. If anyone wants to go for the theory, then they have to study chapter number 8, 9, 10 and 11. And for the practical, the same 6 chapters. The time we have to spend on this question is of the 30 minutes only. Now the next one is question number 5. Now over here you are having an internal option of theory and theory. Here we are not having any practicals, but for the long questions you are having an internal option of the short notes. The short notes is for the 15 marks. You have to attempt any 3 out of the 5. Each short note is for the 5 marks. But over here I'll suggest to the students go for the first part, that is a long answers of 8 marks and 7 marks. Let's understand this in a detail. For the question number 5, you have to study a chapter number 12, 13 and 14. All these 3 chapters you have to study for the question number 5. But suppose if you will go for the short notes, then for the short notes you have to study all the chapters and all the units. Again I'll go back over here. What I said that instead of the short notes, you better attempt for the A and B sub question, that is based on the chapter number 12, 13 and 14. Now something most important we are going to discuss. As we have seen that we are having question number 1, that is objectives. Objective will be based on the entire unit. But in case of the question number 2, we are not going to solve a theory. We will go for the practical, and for the practical we are having this 6th chapter. This is for the question number 2, 3, 4. We are going to just follow this practical and we can score easily over here 45 marks with the help of this 6 chapters. Now in case of the theory we are going to attempt for the question number 5, and for that we have to study chapter number 12, 13 and 14. Now time management. Again I'll repeat, for the question number 1, as we have discussed, we are going to spend only 15 minutes. For the question number 2, 30 minutes, question number 3, 30 minutes, question number 4, 30 minutes, question number 5, 30 minutes. Now remaining 15 minutes we are going to spend on reading the entire paper and rectification of errors, because over here if we are going for the practical and if we will do a silly mistakes while writing the answers, so just because of that mistakes we can lose out the marks. So 15 minutes we have keep it over here for the rectification of errors. So just remember that for the first question 15 minutes and the remaining all the questions is for the 30 minutes, and the 15 to 20 minutes if you will solve this in less than 15 minutes, so you will have the maximum time again for reading your this entire paper and for the rectification of errors. Now how to write the answers in case of the theory, because in case of the question number 5 we have to attempt a theory if we want to score 75 out of 75 marks. So for these 7 to 8 marks you have to write down one back-to-back page minimum. Please remember that for 7 to 8 marks question, one back-to-back page means one side and second side of the same page we have to write down minimum. Maximum you can write down 3 single sides of the paper, but minimum you have to write down 1 back to back page for the 7 and 8 marks. Now if you want to go for the short notes, then how much you have to write down? 1.5 page you have to write down for 5 marks. That is always better, so you can score the maximum marks. Then again you have to remember few points. Suppose if you are writing a theory, always remember that you have to write down point wise answer. Always first specify the point and explain that point later on, but just remember that your answer should be the point wise answer. Whenever it is needed, you have to write down the meaning and definition over there in answer, so you can get out marks in your theory also. Use your diagram and flow chart whenever that is required. So if you will follow this 3 simple rules, that is point wise answer whenever needed, meaning and definition you are going to write down, and use of diagram or flow chart, definitely you can score out marks even in case of theory also. Now this international finance is having maximum weightage of the practical. Please remember that you have to write down the formula with a description. What do you mean by this? In case of the international finance, students are writing just a formula and they are not explaining that formula. Means suppose if you are writing in a arbitrage, if you are writing P stands for the principal, so you have to explain that formula also, that P is equal to the principal, I is equal to the identified bid. All that you have to write down in detail. Then majority of these times what the students are doing, they are writing the formula and they are just writing final answer. Don't do that. Write each and every step. Means I'm going to now upload the new lectures also, and with the help of the previous lectures also you can check out that. You have to always write down the stepwise answer. Don't skip any step over there. And the most important is don't overwrite. Sometimes the students are doing so much of overwriting and we are not able to understand that what amount you guys have written over there. So whenever you are doing any mistake, it's okay, just simply cut it and you have to write down again a correct answer, but don't rewrite this. So remember this important 3 points whenever you are writing any formula, and you have to provide that description, then write a stepwise answer is must. Don't skip any step, and please don't overwrite it. If you will overwrite it, then we are not able to give you out marks. So always keep your numbers so much clear. Now the additional information for this international finance. It is always said that you have to refer the past year's university question papers. Now this is the lockdown time period, all the libraries has closed down, but on my website scoreachievers.com I have uploaded all the previous year's question papers of TYBMS, so students can visit that section and you can easily download that previous year's question papers at free of cost. This website is not charging even a single penny. This is an initiative to provide a free education to the Mumbai University students, and you can get the question banks also for the various subjects over there. And the most important thing, all the best guys for the international finance question, this paper, score maximum marks. If you like this lecture, please comment below, so I'll be motivated and I'll be able to upload the maximum lectures for the international finance. If you are having any query, I have given my WhatsApp number also in the description box, so please check out that. And if you are having any query, you can WhatsApp me. I'll revert back all the queries over there. And suppose if you are having any problem in any particular numerical, that lecture directly I'll upload on a YouTube. So all the best once again guys. Thank you.